Good morning, Governor family. For those of you who may not know me, I'm Danelle Whiteside, Interim President, and I'm excited to welcome you to Convocation. I'm coming to you live from the Department of Communications, and I want to thank Steve Sawyer and his team for their hard work and expertise in making this happen. I thought it was important for us to be together in real time because there's just something about that collective energy that we feel when gathering at the same time, even when we're apart. This is my fourth convocation at Austin Peay, and I feel like it's safe to say that we've never seen one like this before. In fact, I also feel safe to say that we've never seen anything like the year 2020 before. I know the latter part of the last academic year was challenging at best. At worst, it was cumbersome, confusing, and scary. Some of you may feel the same for this coming year, and at this juncture, you are justified in that feeling. But I want you to take just a second and think about what you've been through. Let it really soak in. You made it to this point. You made it. And though we have many obstacles yet to overcome, I believe together we can gov through these times of uncertainty and be better than before. This is my first time addressing you as President Whiteside. Some of you may have worked closely with me over the years, but some of you may have never met me before. Allow me just a brief moment to introduce myself. I was raised in Nashville, Tennessee, born to two loving parents, a university professor and a school nutritionist. I have a brother who is also a professor. Some of you may know him because he teaches at Austin Peay. We were constantly in a house that valued love, respect, free thinking, and collective responsibility. We were always at university functions, entertaining, having dinner with new faculty that my dad may have been mentoring, picking up students to ride with us to church, running around campus while my dad was giving a voice lesson. I grew up knowing that I'd be involved in education somehow because I believe in it and its transformative power. So that's what I've used my law degree to do. I firmly believe that everyone should have access to a great education, no matter who they are, what they look like, or where they come from. And that's why I connect with the mission of Austin Peay. We say bring your Pell students, bring your military-affiliated students, bring your LGBTQ students, bring your non-traditional students, and we'll give you something to change your life and your family tree. Allow me to also introduce you to my family. My husband, Sean, and my son, Donovan. Some of you already know Donovan because during quarantine, when we were at home, he was in all my Zoom meetings. They are excited about me taking on this role too, and look forward to engaging with the Austin Peay family even more. I want to also introduce you to the senior leadership team. Each of them is amazing in their own right, but I'm grateful for their collective strength and wisdom as well. You cannot find a more dedicated team, more willing to roll up their sleeves and do what needs to be done. As I say their names, their pictures will appear on the screen. Dr. Maria Cronley, Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs. Lieutenant General Ron Bailey, Vice President for External Affairs. Mr. Mitch Robinson, Vice President for Finance and Administration. Dr. Eric Norman, Vice President for Student Affairs. Dr. Carol Clark, Assistant Vice President for Community and Government Relations. Corey Harkey, Interim General Counsel, who will be starting with us on August 19th. Mr. Gerald Harrison, Director of Athletics. Brigadier General Scott Brower, Military Advisor in Residence. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Cronley to you. Provost Conley served as Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs at Ohio Northern University since 2017. During that time, the university experienced consecutive years of enrollment growth, and she established a Student Success Center. Prior to her time at Ohio Northern, Dr. Cronley was employed at Miami University in an array of academic and leadership positions, including Professor of Marketing, Senior Associate Dean of the Farmer School of Business, and Senior Associate Provost. In her short time here, she's already been putting her strong stamp on things, and I'm excited about what she will continue to do in her role. Our military advisor in residence, Brigadier General Scott Brower, is serving as the Chief of Staff to the leader of the Governor's COVID-19 Unified Command. General Brower is still an Austin Peay employee, but for the time being, he is on loan to the Governor's office, helping lead Tennessee through the pandemic. I am proud of his tireless work, and I am thankful that state leadership recognized his relevant skill set. I am also grateful for the tremendous help he has provided in helping us prepare to return to campus. I mentioned Corey Harkey, who is also a brilliant attorney, joining us later this week. She comes to us with a wealth of education law experience, most recently as an assistant university counsel at Tennessee State University, and before as general counsel for Metropolitan Nashville Public Schools. She will be heading the Office of Legal Affairs while I am serving as interim president. You may have also heard that General Bailey, our Vice President for External Affairs, is leaving us in October. While I'm sad that he will be leaving us, he leaves an indelible mark on this institution. And as he has told me several times, he may be going back to Washington, D.C., but he is taking Austin Peay with him. Now my eyes turn to you, our incredible Austin Peay family. I have to acknowledge you and all the dedication you have shown over the last several months. Making the switch to virtual instruction is one thing. Doing it with a week's notice is unfathomable. But you did it and made the transition as smooth as possible for our students. You helped our art students take their work online for senior exhibits. Our Career Services Office helped offer a virtual career fair to help our students who were preparing to graduate and successfully enter a volatile workforce. 2 weeks ago, we hosted 6 commencement ceremonies over 2 days. The ceremonies followed all of the proper social distancing guidelines, and we had more than 150 faculty and staff assist. Dr. Chris Gentry hosted a virtual science storytime with APSU Geosciences for K-5 students. And our counseling center provided telehealth counseling to students to retain continuity of their mental health care. The Office of Human Resources stepped up and helped you navigate the complexities of telecommuting, offering virtual trainings on using tools of the virtual environment and providing interactive sessions for working parents. With K-12 schools moving to a virtual format and daycares closing, I know many of you were like me and had to juggle work at home parenting. Our Human Resources Office partnered with other divisions to offer virtual sessions to engage your children, such as STEM Fun with APSU's mad scientist Brian Gaither, and Little People Toddler Time with Claudia Rodriguez of Little Gov's Child Learning Center. That was personally essential for my toddler and my sanity. Our Geographic Information Systems GIS Center led the state on building and printing 3D disposable face shields and frames. When Governor Lee asked colleges and universities if they could help make protective equipment for Tennessee's healthcare workers, one of our students built a prototype face shield in 3 hours. Within a week, universities and technical colleges across the state were using our prototype face shields for medical workers. The GIS Center has worked around the clock to build and package the shield equipment, and they have sent 18,000 face shield frames and 180,000 pieces of acetate to TEMA since March. GIS has also produced an additional 2,000 face shields for local agencies in the community. Many of you have been assisting the community by making cloth masks. Theater professor Lenny Dyer saw a social media call for volunteer sewers for Operation Come Together, a locally run effort working to produce fabric masks and face shields for healthcare workers in the region. Professor Dyer made more than 100 masks within a short period of time that went to essential workers at Fort Campbell and Tenova Healthcare. A group of faculty and staff members started by sewing more than 50 masks for our physical plant department when they came back to campus full-time, which grew to approximately 450 masks for our faculty and staff who needed masks when they returned to campus. The University Advancement Team raised almost $70,000 from our alumni and friends in a Gov's Give Back initiative to help assist our students facing financial hardships. The University Advancement Office collaborated with the APSU Center for Service Learning to distribute the funds to those with the greatest need. The most frequent request was for assistance with rent. I know many of you donated to this effort and to the university as a whole, and I am thankful for your help during this time of uncertainty. Kudos to our distance education team for stepping up in a major way to help many of you transition your classes to virtual instruction during the spring semester, summer, and this fall. Online instruction can be high quality, but much time and effort go into designing and creating a robust online course. While we regularly offered online courses for the convenience of our students, moving thousands of sections online in a few days' time took a tremendous collective effort to make it happen. You should all be proud. I want to give a collective shout out to all the folks who were part of the COVID-19 task force, the strategic planning and implementation team, the COVID-19 recovery group, and the COVID command group. I'd like to give an individual shout out to Michael Kazitz for stepping up to lead us through this unprecedented crisis. We have been working for months preparing for the safe return of faculty, staff, and students. We continue to meet daily for updates on cases, supplies, and testing, and we are ready to pivot and be flexible if the need arises. We have plugged holes in communication, established clear process channels, and readied our classrooms and workspaces. I know that many of you are worried, but with the guidelines we have put in place and the preparations we have undergone, I truly believe that we are making Austin Peay the safest place to be. Thank you to the faculty and staff for helping our student athletes earn the OVC Academic Medal of Honor. We have set a program record with 34 student athletes earning this honor because they each carried a perfect 4.0 grade point average. Many of you have tutored and mentored these students, and we are proud of them for this accomplishment and acknowledge you for your hard work. Over the summer, our aviation program hit a major milestone. Ryan Erb became the first student in the aviation program to complete the first solo flight. Congratulations to Mr. Erb and the aviation program on this soaring accomplishment. After many years of talking about it, the Ann Ross bookstore is officially open on College Street. The bookstore is open to the campus and the community and houses my personal favorite, a Starbucks coffee. It is a gorgeous space that you should definitely check out. You may have noticed the new crosswalk and stoplight at the intersection of Home Avenue and 4th Street. This will help students and the community better access the bookstore and the Newton Family Resource Center when it opens. Military Family Resource Center, rather. I am pleased to announce that we are still on track to offer the Master of Speech Language Pathology. The Board of Trustees and THEC have approved the degree, and we are awaiting approval from SACS-COC. The program will help prepare graduates to help individuals with communication disorders to acquire or restore the basic human need for communications. Congratulations are also in order to Dean of Students Greg Singleton for winning the Outstanding First Year Student Advocate Award. The award honors college faculty, administrators, staff, and students for their outstanding work on behalf of first-year students and for the impact their efforts have on the students and culture of their institutions. Dean Singleton was chosen from 93 nominations and was one of 10 award recipients. Kudos to you, Dean Singleton. In true governor spirit, our faculty are leading in big ways across the state, country, and world. Dr. John Phillips, Associate Professor in Political Science, has been appointed to serve on Tennessee's Civil Rights Advisory Committee. Dr. David Rands, Associate Professor in History and Philosophy and Director of the university's Asian Studies program, was one of 13 scholars from around the world and only one of 3 in the United States chosen for an in-depth 3-week fellowship in Japan. Doctors Jessica Fripp, Emily Pika, and Jeff Thompson received community recognition for their work on the 2020 mentoring program, an incredible collaboration with Montgomery County Juvenile Court. I salute you all for these incredible efforts. Before the pandemic, you may have heard President White mention the proposed creation of the Institute for National Security. The Institute aligns with the university's work on developing future degrees that include a Bachelor of Science in National Security Studies and a Master's in Criminal Justice Homeland Security. Last fall and in the spring, President White, Dr. Carol Clark, General Brower, and General Bailey met with state legislators to solicit funding to start the Institute, with the university taking over full cost after the first 3 years. Unfortunately, the project didn't make it into the governor's original or revised budgets and has been put on hold due to the budget constraints the state is facing. But we are not letting that priority go and hope to continue to push for support when economic times are better. We also submitted a request for a new health professions building and were thrilled when it ranked number 3 on THEC's list of priorities and was a part of the governor's original budget. The new building would house nursing, allied health sciences, health and human performance, social work, and psychological science and counseling. Unfortunately, that building was removed from the governor's revised budget due to economic constraints around COVID-19. I am pleased that we will maintain our ranking on the THEC priority list for next year, and we remain hopeful that the building will be added back into the budget next year. I wanted to give you a brief update about where we are with the Montgomery County Multipurpose Event Center. We are working through the state approval process for the lease agreement with Montgomery County and plan to go before the State Building Commission for consideration and approval in September. The impact will give APSU much needed space for our basketball programs and will be a strong partnership with Montgomery County for years to come. I know these last several months have been chaotic, and as if the chaos of COVID-19 weren't enough, our country continues to be plagued by issues of racism. I personally couldn't watch the video of George Floyd's murder or Ahmaud Arbery's execution. As a Black woman with a Black husband and a Black son, the grief is often too much for me. The impact of what the world witnessed this summer weighs heavily, as I'm sure has been the case with many of you. I have been heartened by the response from supportive colleagues and friends, and I feel deeply that APSU is committed to fostering a safe and inclusive campus climate. We have reestablished the African American Employee Council, which held a powerful virtual town hall on racial and social injustice. More than 400 students, faculty, and staff attended. It garnered local and national media attention, and it has been held up as an exemplar for other universities to follow. After the town hall, the Office of Equity, Access, and Inclusion hosted a virtual workshop about being a partner in justice in times of social unrest. Chief Diversity Officer Lanisa Williams partnered with PR and marketing to produce If Austin Peay Could Talk, where Black employees of Austin Peay are bravely sharing their lived experiences. It is my hope that as we peel back our layers and let others see our struggles, they will be challenged even more to be partners in a solution for equity that we so desperately need. If ever there was a time that we need each other, it is now. Many of you know John Lewis, the noted congressman, civil rights icon, and humanitarian. He passed away several weeks ago. And in the coverage following his death, I learned of so many stories of how he became the giant of a man we came to know. In his book, Walking with the Wind, a memoir of the movement, he tells a story of 4-year-old John playing in the dirt outside an aunt's house with his 3 siblings and a dozen cousins. The sky darkened, the wind whipped up, and lightning flashed in the distance. His aunt gathered them into her house. Soon the wind began to shake the structure, even raising a corner of the house. Lewis's aunt had the children join hands, form a line across the room, and walk together. As the storm tried to lift the house, they walked back and forth, the weight of their small bodies holding the house down until the storm passed over them. Earlier, you heard me say that together we will gov through this. It is our collective strength and shared responsibility that will get us through the storms ahead of us. In the 8 months of 2020, we've had a tornado in Middle Tennessee, COVID-19, racial unrest, a presidential campaign, and I read somewhere about some murder hornets. Talk about our house being rocked and shaken on nearly every side. With all that we have endured and all that we have yet to see, it is easy to feel like these changing winds and storms will overtake us. But look at all the ways you've innovated and persevered. You've joined hands to keep the foundation of our institution strong. Some of you swore up and down that you'd never teach an online course, but you pulled together, and you did. Who would have thought that we'd be able to place mobile orders from an app to get food from our dining facilities to help minimize crowds in the UC? But you brainstormed together, and now we can. Who would have known that we could sustain a flexible work environment that supports working parents and still be able to accomplish our goals? But we rallied behind each other, and we have. No one person could have gotten through all of this alone. All the efforts I've been speaking about this whole time have been done through partnership and collaboration. Though we've been apart, we've come together like never before. And that's why I know that together we will gov through the uncertainties ahead of us, because the innovation, the partnership, the love for each other, and the courage to face another day are not just what we do, it's who we are. I want to thank all of you for your hard work to help our students, our colleagues, and our community through this time. Your work has been nothing short of heroic, and you should be proud of yourselves. I know I'm proud of you and proud to be leading you. We will continue to put people first, to serve our students and our community in a way that adds value to their lives, and maintain our commitment to academic excellence and innovation. I want to end my remarks with a video showing you that together we will gov through this.
We just had our first graduating class released out to the pandemic of the floors of these medical facilities. They really didn't know what to expect because we didn't have a lot of time in spring to pull all this together to show them what a pandemic's like.
I worked for the Philadelphia Office of Emergency Management in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So we're at about 175,000 deaths in the United States right now. So this is a very serious pandemic. I came out of a big city with 1.4 million people to a smaller town, to a smaller community, but the issues are still the same.
Well, the first thing to hit our mind is, everything was uncertain. If our revenue sources decline, how will we meet our essential obligations? How will we meet our debt service reserves? How will we continue to pay our faculty, staff, and students?
In March 2020, we all started the COVID-19 pandemic crisis together, yet became racially separated when data showed that the Black community was impacted at disproportionate rates. Even in a worldwide pandemic, our community was told that we were less than.
We just produce the best nurses we can produce, and they have the intelligence and the caring abilities to take care of these patients. They're gowned in full PPE every day, and they go home and to families and friends, and hopefully they're not transmitting the virus because they've learned ways to stay safe.
We've really been focused on trying to bring students and faculty back and staff back safely. So again, we've every single classroom now has had the desks moved to be socially distanced. We put in place the mandatory mask requirements that you must wear a mask everywhere inside on campus. We've been working on getting our digital online learning up to speed and improving from the spring term. Our dining services have been streamlined so that there's more takeout options. less seating areas, but more takeout options. And then we've set aside some quarantine rooms within our dorms to take care of folks that are sick. We've also been working with Boyd Health Services.
One of the things that we decided quickly to do was to make sure that students that moved off campus, that moved out of our dorms, that we acted quickly and provided housing and dining refunds based on the unused balances. We were given some resources to provide student emergency grants, and the Financial Aid Office put a plan together quickly to help all students that were enrolled full-time during the spring semester. One very positive outcome of this is the Tennessee Higher Education Commission really fought for Tennessee institutions, and because of their work on our behalf, our budget is staying flat from last year.
Due to the subsequent political and social unrest following the death of George Floyd, members of the African American Employee Council, also known as the AAEC, decided to use their voices and actions to help prompt, facilitate, and lead much-needed change here at Austin Peay. The systemic changes that need to occur cannot and should not just be the responsibility of our Black colleagues. The AAEC Town Hall was just one way and one opportunity for us to listen, to learn, and move into action, something that many of us have already begun to do on this campus. Many members have made a commitment to be partners in justice, to listen, to learn, and act regarding issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion here at Austin Peay.
I am Maria Cronley. I am the Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs and University Provost. And first, I just want to say I'm so thrilled to be here and joining the Austin Peay State University community. So over the last several weeks, prior to my arrival here, I was given the opportunity to observe some of the many things that stakeholders and community members have been doing here across the university. And I've watched in amazing ways how faculty, staff, and everyone in the community has really stepped up. It's been very inspiring. It's been exciting to watch. So I've watched the university and the people here make hand sanitizer, sew masks, create face shields, and really find new and innovative ways to keep our colleagues and our students safe. I've also watched the faculty get ready to come back for fall and doing amazing things in terms of shifts to be able to do remote instruction, and also making sure that their materials and classes are ready when we come back for fall. I am excited and thrilled and confident that we can bring our students back and offer to our students, whether it's in person, through remote delivery, or through online delivery, a high quality educational and learning experience, because that is our promise, right? To be a Gov, and the promise that we deliver at APSU is that we're going to deliver on that academic mission and give our students those high quality learning outcomes that they deserve.